Hello everyone, I'm not even here. Here I am. Welcome on in. Happy New Year. Lovely to see you again. We are going to be taking a look at mods. I know it's shocking and you won't even be able to guess which game. It's Morrowind. Surprise! And, oh, Zarek, thank you so much for the host, I think it is. Much appreciated. Hello, Vargoth. The plan for today will be taking a look at mods, and the best way to look at a mod is when you have the modder to tell you what's going on. So without further ado, Seelof, make yourself heard.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Can't complain.
Can't complain. Not too much, at least, just a little.
Just a little.
Just a little.
The time of year for that.
Exactly, and just keep things real. Like you can complain a little, but not too much.
Yeah.
Before we dive into the real stuff, can the chat tell me if the sound is okay, especially my voice compared to Seelof's? And by the way, your name, the way you say it in your head, is it Seelof?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, good. Because it's happened that I keep saying the name the same way over and over and over again, and then at the end of the stream say, by the way, my name is this. So I'm glad I remembered to ask at the beginning. Chat,
Yeah,
what do you say about the
fine.
volume? Are you happy with that? I think I might make him a little louder. A smidge louder, yes. That's the feeling I got also looking at the, sophisticated sound things that I see on my screen. All right. Well, maybe it's going to be better that way, hopefully. Right. The things that I have installed.
Should I say something?
Just like that. I think it's good. The chat will be complaining a lot anyway if it's not good enough. I know that.
My voice usually isn't that loud. I'm kind of a quiet person, so.
I think we're good. So I have installed your latest mod, which is Illunibi. I also have Library of Vivek. And Sip saying that we'll be complaining even if things are all right. You can never win with Twitch chat. Louder even? Okay. All right. Louder. I think they're trying to tell me to shut up and let you speak. I think that's what it is. So I'm gonna shut up, and I'm gonna leave you with a question, and it's a question that is nearly impossible for modders to answer, but you'll have to try. Which of your mod is your favorite?
Yeah, that's kind of a hard question indeed. Well, usually I tend to feel the most appreciation for my latest mod, which in this case would be New Illunibi. But I guess all in all, with a little more distance, I think it's probably Library of Vivek, because that mod just it's just so massive, and I had never intended for it to be that massive. And yeah, I think I like that one best. I think I do.
All right. And also, it's kind of the mod that got people's attention to begin with.
True. It did.
Not about mods. Tell me, are you using earphones already? No, Delina. Okay. Delina was saying that she couldn't hear you, but I think there's a bit of a delay. Good. So we're good with the sound. For now. For now.
Okay.
Which mod would you like us to take a look at first?
I guess we could go like chronologically backwards, like start with the latest one, New Illunibi.
Okay, let's do that.
Would make sense to
It's
me.
a good idea. Even though if we really, really wanted to use the chronological order, we should take a look at the mod that you're making right now. But we'll keep that for later.
Yeah, I think that would be better. There's not too much. There's not too much to look at anyway. So let's keep that for later.
Which one is the first area of Ilunibi?
Carcass of the Saint.
Thank you. Now you know it by heart. Like when you close your eyes,
do.
you can see the map. Not surprised.
I do. I spent months with it. I think it took me like 4 or 5 months to finish this mod.
Wow, that's half a year. That's a lot of time. How did it begin?
How did it begin? Yeah, I think I started very shortly after I finished the Library of Vivek mod, and I felt a little burned out after that because the last couple of weeks with that mod I had spent almost entirely on questing and scripts, and as it turned out, that was something I didn't enjoy at all. So like a week or two after I had released the library mod, I felt like maybe I should just slap some things together in the construction set, just build something, whatever it is. I felt like doing that, and then, I don't know, somehow this main quest dungeon in Unibi popped into my head, and I figured it could seriously need some love, so I just started building. And yeah, in the end it got a little out of control.
As tradition dictates.
Indeed.
I don't know, like I don't think I have met a modder who ever told me, well, I wanted to do this, and that's what I did, and nothing else. Maybe I haven't talked to enough people just yet. So would you say that the construction set and like placing things around is the part of modding that you enjoy the most?
Definitely the part that I enjoy the most. Also, pretty much the only thing that I actually know how to do. Like scripting, I have no idea of scripting, how scripting works. Sometimes I'm able to edit very simple, already existing scripts to serve my purpose, but that's about it. And the dialogue system is just complete pain in the ass. I hate it. So I'm mostly just content building stuff in the construction set, and that's it. That's what I intended to do with this mod. But in the end I figured, well, I probably need some quests after all, and some scripts. So yeah, but that came like weeks and months after I had already built a lot of stuff for the mod.
Yeah.
But in the end, I unfortunately didn't get around it.
It's really, really hard to get around it. I remember for a modding madness, we had to do a dungeon, and usually within my team at the time, I was the one doing dialogues and scripts. Now, dialogue I can do quite well, but scripts, I'm just like you. Like, I couldn't code to save my life. If it's a simple script, I'd be able to change a couple of things here and there, but that's it. And so for that dungeon, I knew I didn't want to do any dialogue, so I only used little scripts that would trigger the journal, that would make something appear or disappear, and I was pretty happy with the result that I did not have to do anything in a dialogue, because it is a pain, an absolute pain.
Yeah, indeed. Those simple things I can do too, but it's not like I enjoy them.
I hear you. I'm in the very first room right now where we already have verticality, which is very important.
Yeah, a little verticality.
How come? Yeah, for now it's just the beginning. Now, verticality, is that something that came to you naturally, or were you like, I want to make a place that is vertical?
No, that came pretty much naturally. I don't know, even when I was just modding for myself a couple of years ago, when I wasn't releasing anything, I did a few dungeon mods just for myself, and even those usually had a healthy dose of verticality. Though, I mean, looking back at those mods, all in all, they're not really that good. But they did have verticality even back then. I don't know. It's just something that I like. I think Morrowind needs more verticality. I know I'm not the only one thinking that way.
I was going to say, I know a guy, a dog guy,
Yeah, I do too.
specifically, that feels the same way.
I do too. Exactly. Yeah, and then that first room that you just were in, that was basically the idea behind that one was basically sort of to emulate what was already there, because in the vanilla dungeon Ilonibi, the first room, the very first room, was basically the most interesting one in terms of its appearance. Mm-hmm. It had a little bit of verticality, a couple waterfalls, and you had to go downwards. So that was kind of nice. So I figured maybe I shouldn't change that too much, like the principle behind it. Mm-hmm. I only tried to make it nicer. And then I had to figure out where to go next. So I came up with that little stream that you just followed. And then I figured I need another waterfall, and then things got a little crazy, and there's this huge cavern.
I was thinking I heard somebody casting a spell behind me. It's okay. Just got rid of a dreamer. We're good.
Yeah, there are some opponents there. Things got a little crazy then, and it took me a while to finish just this cavern. I don't know how much time I spent on it, but it definitely took a while. Yeah.
Would you say it took a long time because it was the first one and you were still trying to figure out where you were going with the mod, or just because it's really large? Like, why did it take so much time, you think?
Both, I guess. In that, well, number one, it is really, really large and also very detailed. Like, there's a lot of stuff in there. I mean, lots of hidden places, items you can find, cave-ins, like there's a secret tunnel that leads you to a certain guy and whatnot. You can float upwards, you can fly downwards. So it took me a lot just to assemble all these details. But at the same time, of course, I was also trying to figure out what do I actually want to do with this cavern, because I don't plan anything, I don't design anything. I just start putting things together and see where things go. And sometimes that means that I have to delete certain things. And sometimes I think it looks good and I can just move on. But it took a while.
That is not surprising.
But I like it. I like the end result.
Looks good. It really does look good. A lot of the assets, like the waterfalls, are from OAAB.
Correct.
Do you think you would have been able to achieve the same result, more or less, with vanilla assets, or not? Nope.
Nope, not at all. I mean, you can try to build like such a freestyle cave with vanilla rocks. You can do that, but it wouldn't look as good because they're not that detailed. Mm-hmm. And also then you have to think of like people are using different replaces, and then suddenly they experience holes in the ceiling or whatnot. Mm-hmm. So I figured, one, I'd be much safer using assets from OAAB, but then two, they just look so much better than the vanilla rocks. So what you see here in this cavern is almost exclusively from OAAB.
And it's true that you could with the vanilla rocks, if you completely, even if you assume that the textures work well together and the UV map, because if you take a rock and then you flip it, then you see those lines going in different directions and it completely breaks immersion. But even ignoring that, if you wanted to achieve that sort of like that pyre you have in the middle, you would have to pile up so many rocks, you would end up with so many models that the FPS would probably be quite bad.
Yeah, that's true. So OAB is something I like to work with regularly. I've been using it on the mod I'm currently working on. That's Aquama Mine. I've been using the Aquama Mine pieces from OAB that Melchior did. Those are pretty cool as well, I gotta say.
They're Very, very cool. When Melchior was here, we took a look at the mine, and there's all kinds of little things, and
Yeah, I saw that.
we were all complaining that there's only one mine like that, and there's another 30 to go. So
Yeah, I took a look at that because when I started working on the Gnisis Egg Mine that I'm currently doing, I checked how many more mines there were, and yeah, I'm not sure I'll be able to do them all. For now, it's just the one.
One at a time. That's fair. So the mine that you're working on is you're reworking the Gnisis Egg Mine. You're not making a new one.
Correct.
Good. I can cross one out from the list of mine. Don't die. You're good. I'm taking a look down there. I'm curious.
Yeah, so many details, waterfalls, mushrooms.
Those mushrooms are amazing. Like you can create the most atmospheric sort of caves using them. We're gonna cheat. Okay.
Yes, definitely. Because those usually, since they are luminous, you can add light sources, and that makes everything just look so much better. Instead of having just a dark cave where you can see, can't see anything.
Really good. It's really good. I'm cheating. I'm levitating. Oh, I found a thing.
Yeah, that's always good.
I found a thing. Sayings of Tamriel, which is also an OAAB book, I think. So even the quest rewards are not necessarily vanilla items. I mean, not quest rewards, sorry. The rewards for exploring the mod.
True, there are. I employed many items from OAAB. Also a few custom items. I included the steel armor from Olaf, which I really like. That armor is pretty much scattered throughout this entire cavern, so you can sort of go on a scavenger hunt to find all the pieces. There's if you do one of the quests, one of the rewards is a unique weapon, which I took from your
oh, is it the scythe? I'm not sure about the pronunciation.
Exactly. Yeah, from your Hell of a mod, or original. However it is pronounced.
Killing spree, actually.
Right, exactly. That's the one. Yeah, that's a quest reward. In fact, we could go to that skeleton guy and maybe start the quest so that people can maybe see the animation when you complete the quest. Because that animation, I mean, I can take no credit for it. That's all Melchior Dark who did that. That animation looks just so amazing.
Yeah, so now I just need to find the dead guy again. But you see, I'm just
yeah, go to the big waterfall.
Looking at things. There's not that far.
Go to the big waterfall.
I think
to the white one.
That's the one.
At mid-height, and there should be a hidden tunnel right next to it.
A hidden tunnel behind a waterfall. But it's not that little niche.
The biggest waterfall that there is.
I'm gonna go from the top.
When you enter the
that would be this one. You mentioned quest, because obviously this is that's cheating if I go through. You mentioned that it is part of the main quest, obviously, but hey Space Ducks, welcome back. But you added some quest on top of the main quest that you do there already.
Yeah, I added 4 quests, which are just like side quests which you can find throughout the dungeon.
So the quests are triggered in the dungeon and then obviously done in the dungeon as well.
Yes, except for one quest. You can find all of the quests inside of the dungeon, but one of them you'll probably have to venture outside the dungeon. Which is you have to collect a couple of souls, and I don't think you'll be able to find all the souls inside the dungeon.
that's fair. Am I looking at the correct waterfall? This one seems pretty
no,
big.
no, no.
No, there's a
I
bigger
meant
one
the
than that.
go to the left and to the very big one where you first came into the large cavern.
I think that might be the one. I'm guessing we have a little bit of delay.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's normal. Ha ha! Well,
So from what I'm seeing, you're still looking at the wrong one.
well, I found a passage going to Morrowind Spine. But that's not what you meant, right?
That's not what I meant, no. Turn back and take the waterfall right opposite from where you are right now.
Okay. Let's take a look behind this one.
Should be about the same height too.
Did I tell you the story about the time I streamed looking for the ebony short sword that is in the game? You know, there's that ebony short sword not too far from where the Lao stronghold is built. I think we must have spent like an hour on stream with the chat telling me to the left, no, go back. It was just so...
But you're at the right spot now. You just have to get onto the path. And then you can go into the tunnel.
The path of the waterfall? Like I'm looking for something behind it? Or I'm just following it?
Basically, yeah, you just have to go left on the path and you can go through. No, you're going up again. That's not right. It's at mid-height level of the big waterfall. You were just there.
Oh gosh.
And now you're back in the entry part of the cavern.
I'm gonna stop moving for a second so you can you can give me not better directions, like so I can follow your directions better. So we want to see that animation, definitely.
Yeah.
Alright. So I'm looking at the waterfall and I'm not moving.
Right. Go right to its mid-height level. So basically where the waterfall turns into a little stream until that little stream then also turns into a big waterfall. Mid-height. And then to the left there's a little path and you can basically go through the waterfall.
Mid-height. I think I am at mid-height. At the same time, I'm not entirely sure of what is the total. Oh, I see a path. But that's to the right. We don't want a path to the right.
You're looking right at it now.
It was.
And to the left. That's exactly the spot what I see now, and we just have... If there wasn't this damn delay, it would be a lot easier.
I know. It's just maybe 5 seconds, but that's just enough to make it tricky. The waterfall is now behind me, but that was a path to the right and following the water.
No, it should have been to the left. Now you're way off again. Or you can just go like, what's the command in the console to
TCL,
go through objects?
That's what I'm doing already. You see, I'm like, my god, this cell is huge. Let me try to, there we go. I'm trying to get a view of the cell. I'm completely outside of it right now. It is massive.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
sure.
Now I see, when you say mid-height, I do have a slightly better idea of what that is. Let's go back in through the rocks and everything. Okay.
That looked pretty good right there.
You mean 5 seconds ago?
Yeah, probably more, because right now I'm looking at the entire dungeon from the outside.
Yeah, that's
so it
right.
appears to be a little more than 5 seconds. But for me the stream keeps lagging, so I'm probably falling more and more behind. By the way, when I say mid-height, I mean mid-height of the waterfall, not of the entire cavern.
But since the waterfall, I mean, this one is really, really long, including some less vertical bits.
Yeah, but that's not the one. I mean the one that that the stream turns into at the very beginning. There's the stream, and then comes the big waterfall. You basically just go down that waterfall until mid-height.
I did find another corpse, so yay for me. Ooh, and a note. But that is something
And that's
different.
at the top, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little note where the guy who's now just skeletal remains basically tells the story how he got there, and that's basically the start of the scavenger hunt for the for Olaf's armor, for Olaf's steel armor.
We're gonna find the first piece with him? Maybe not.
Yeah, he has the helmet with him,
I
but
see
the other
it.
pieces you'll have to look a little more closely throughout the cave.
You see how bad I am to find something when you give me directions? Scavenger hunts, I am just hopeless. Absolutely hopeless. But I was going to say something. You have the note, and I can see that you went into great detail because you also have the quill, but you went even further. There's a vial of ink, even. Like usually we get a note, and that's already pretty good. Sometimes there's a quill, but I've never seen the vial of ink, which is also OAB.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's got to write with something, right? I mean, can't just
Agreed.
write with his fingers and with invisible ink or something, right?
Now, if only I could find which one you mean is the river.
Maybe you should go to the entry of the cave again, like where you teleported using the console in the very beginning.
That may be it. Because I keep floating, running up and down without paying attention, and I'm talking to you at the same time. Horrible. Teleport. A lot of people who do overhauls,
Not even death can save
a lot
you
of
from
people
me.
who do the overhauls, they use OAB. It has inspired lots and lots of people. They also tend to use Tamriel Rebuilt. Have you looked at the assets or not?
Oh yeah, I have. I have actually used them for the library mod. I've used Tamriel data assets for that one, but not for Illuminati. Yeah, those assets from Tamriel data are also, some of them are quite nice, but there are so many of them that I had some trouble figuring out exactly which ones I would want to use.
That's exactly what it is. Like now we have, first with the construction set, to be able to build something reasonably efficiently, you have to sort of learn what's available and you know the prefixes that are used and where you can find them, so you don't spend too much time going through lists of objects.
Indeed.
And then OAAB, I think, is nearly as big, maybe not quite yet, but it's still growing. And then TR data is easily twice as big as what we have from the construction set. So that's yet more things to memorize before you can use them efficiently.
Yep, indeed. I had quite a few troubles with that. So in the end, I think for the library mod, I didn't even end up using that many of their assets, but there were a few. There definitely were a few that I used.
I haven't moved for a little bit. Am I looking at the right little stream?
Right now, I'm seeing you go through some menu. I think I'm still way behind.
Oh wow, yeah.
Even though I
it's
refreshed,
multiply.
even though I refreshed the stream, I don't know what's going on there. Are you at the start of the dungeon again?
I went back to the beginning and then I followed the first waterfalls down to the river, the stream.
Okay, so you followed the stream until the end. That's where it turns into a waterfall. And
Yes.
basically you just need to fall down there. Just straight down to the first ledge.
Where another waterfall starts. I mean, in the construction site.
Exactly.
Still going down.
Right, so basically you have a waterfall behind you and one exactly in front of you where... So when I say the big waterfall, it's basically two waterfalls, but it's supposed to be more or less one.
So I'm going
So when you're
down
at
the
that-
second one now.
Yeah, you shouldn't go down the second one.
Shouldn't.
Shouldn't.
Back to the first one. And behind this one...
Right. When you're looking at it, to your left.
Yes. You know what? If I had been playing this on my own, I don't think I would have found it. Like I
Well,
do
that's
have
the
the
beauty of it.
reflex. I do have the reflex of walking through waterfall, but I saw a wall, and I don't think to look left and right. I mean, come on. All right, okay. Easter egg right there. Oof.
Yeah.
Chat, I hope you're
Yeah,
taking notes. And
I deliberately hid it.
Such a large area. Ah,
Yeah.
it's pretty apart from the skeleton hanging upside down.
Yeah,
Lovely spot.
kind of.
Lovely spot.
Yeah.
Almost perfect.
So when I first placed that skeleton there, it was just a kit bash. The skeleton itself was again taken from OAAB, and then I placed some mushrooms on it. And I had no idea what to do with it. I just figured I'd probably have to come back to it later. And so I kept working on other parts of the dungeon, and then eventually, well, I had to make a decision as to what to do with it. And so I figured maybe a quest would be cool, to turn that thing into a character that would give you the quest. But I figured it speaks. I figured I need to make some adjustments, like being a kit bash probably wasn't that practical. So I asked around how to approach this, and then Make Your Dark agreed to help me. And basically he turned it into a working mesh. He also created the animation to go along with it and wrote the scripts. Basically everything technical about that skeleton is Melchior's work. I just wrote the quest around it. The animation only plays after you've brought back what he asks for. But it's really impressive. I mean, Melchior really kind of outdid himself there. Maybe we can do that quest as we go along. He will ask you to retrieve his soul. He will explain to you that the 6 house cultists stripped him of his soul, and he asks you to retrieve it. But you'll only be able to retrieve it way further into the dungeon. So maybe we can come back to that later.
Definitely. Do you have pen and paper to take notes? I found a typo.
A typo? Really?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's
one of
unacceptable.
the. I know. to think I only praised that mod. Had I known. Joke aside, it's in the Saints dialogue on the choice that you give. The fear not, I will retrieve your soul. It's a T instead of an R. It's a typo.
Well, that's really embarrassing. Thank you.
No, it's really not. Like the dialogue in the construction set, like I will pay money to the person who will simply let me resize that bloody window. I have my glasses, I have a reasonably large screen. It's not extremely big, but it's, bigger than a laptop. And reading the text that you type in the dialogue in the construction set is such a pain. And some letters between the actual not typing properly, not being able to read properly, and thinking about, oh, I'm going to make that choice one, and I need to update the dialogue and the journal, this and that, all the time. So fear not, I will retrieve your soul.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
yeah. It's good to know. It's good to know. That's one more thing I can add to the list of things that need to be fixed. Because I've been looking for those. Because when Dark Elf guy released his showcase of the mod, I realized that there were 2 floaters throughout the dungeon, and I was always meaning to fix those, but I figured pumping out an update for just those 2 tiny issues didn't really have the motivation to do it. But this is one more thing I can fix, so that's good.
There you go. Glad I could help. This looks really, really pretty. Honestly.
Yeah, I like giving details to those dungeon surroundings. I always felt that the vanilla dungeons are so bare and so empty. So I try to do better.
And I even got a Daedric helmet. I was not even looking for it, but I found it. I'm very, very pleased with myself.
Yeah, you should be.
As we've demonstrated, I'm not really good at finding things. Problem is,
the idea behind that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the idea behind the helmet was that I wanted to place it basically in plain sight, but I figured, well, it's in a place where you could easily just run past it without noticing it, even though it's right there at your feet.
At first, I thought, oh, it's funny, the texture of the rock almost looks like a face. And then I was like, unless it is a face. And so it was.
Yeah.
Pure luck. And I only thought of that because when we were doing the madness with Melchior, Merlord, and Zero Fox, he made a texture, a lava texture, like a cool down lava texture, so dark, but they were like horrified faces in it. That's why I thought about it. Anyway, I found a door to go to the Tainted Marrow. So let's go take a look. I got a feeling it's not going to be as pretty.
Well, actually, Tainted Marrow is still quite pretty.
Not quite pretty.
It gets darker as you go deeper, but Tainted Marrow doesn't go as deep yet. There's some nice places in there.
Is there a cell that you prefer within that dungeon?
Well, my favorite cell is certainly the cavern that we've just spent so much time in. In fact, that might be my favorite place of all the places I've built so far in any mod, just because it's so, I don't know, so large and so many details. But there are other nice places in this particular dungeon, like I assume we will take a look at Marowak's Spine. That one looks pretty cool. But Tainted Marrow has some nice places too, I think.
We'll try to get there. Those rocks from OAAB, the hill meshes are everything. It gives like a real feeling of 3D.
I'm a god. How can you kill a god? What a grand and intoxicating innocence. I'm a god. How can you kill a god? Shame on you.
No cascade.
Okay, I'm good. I'm back. Welcome, Nug. I almost missed you there. Didn't see you. It is very pretty, and yeah, those hill. I mean, for me, they look like those rocks with those nice curves, but not just, you know, a circle. It's very nice.
Yeah, so I think I'm still lagging way behind. I've restarted the stream again, but still way behind. Where are you right now?
I have just found what seemed to be the skeleton of a really, really large creature. It is Marowak ribcage, obviously.
So you're in Morrowind Spine now.
Yeah, we did go there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's another large cavern that I actually had some trouble getting to work properly. I mean, like, visually speaking, for a long time. I was pretty unsatisfied with it. Just something just kept looking not right to me. Because it was such a... Sorry?
What was it?
Yeah, the problem was, I think, that it was just such a large and vast cavern, and it felt and looked so empty.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wasn't able to figure out how to fix that. So what I ended up doing is I placed, I think, 3 large pillars. That turned out to be quite the simple fix, actually, because with those pillars, suddenly it didn't look as empty anymore. Didn't even take a lot of work to implement those, but I thought those improved the visual quality of the cave massively. But it took me a long time to figure that out. Before that, I just couldn't get it to work. Something just looked off.
I'm looking at that the bit where there's waterfalls that come out of 2 large glassless windows, I guess. Almost looks like eyes. And that is so scenic. Okay, I feel like I'm
Glassless windows?
No, that's my terrible English. I'll stop moving for a bit so you can see it. It's just 2 almost rectangular openings. Null is saying that he has a huge chat delay as well. But I am not lagging. It's your fault. I blame your internet.
Mm-hmm.
I like that you put bits of skeletons, the spine. And this one, I can't find the name of it. SLF Morrowind Spine. Did you create those assets? Because SLF, that's your prefix, right?
It is, but I didn't create those assets. I just used my prefix to avoid conflicts with other mods in case there were some, to avoid basically similarities in naming stuff. No, I didn't make those assets. Those assets were made by Melchior, maybe Rubberman. And those assets, I took those from the Mamaea Awakened mod.
That would be Melchior, yeah.
Yeah, Melchior and Rubberman and 2 other people whose names I don't remember right now, unfortunately.
I think Lucifer,
it was.
Might have been on that.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Anyway, it was a mod released for one of the Madness competitions a couple of years back. And I took those bones from there. And I think you're still in Tainted Mirror after all. And that's why I had trouble identifying what you were talking about. I thought you were in Morrowind Spine, but you're still in Tainted Marrow. And yes, indeed,
Tainted Marrow, yes.
I scattered some of those bones in there as well. I thought you were in the cell Morrowind Spine, because in the cell Morrowind Spine there's an actual skeleton that I created with those bones.
Sorry, that was misleading. And I just looked it up. It was Endoran, Lucifer, Melchior, Dark, and Rubberman who worked on Mamaea Awakened. And that was the Madness of 2018.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I took those bones from. And now I know what you meant with glassless windows, from those waterfalls.
That was a terrible way of explaining it.
Yeah, but I know what you mean now. Yeah, that's a nice waterfall.
Because
in that cavern behind...
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
There's actually another quest for you to find, but we don't have to do that right now.
No,
But that's one of the places where you can find quests.
I've seen Sylviane Renel, a Breton lady.
Yes, indeed.
She would be the one.
She's one of the quest givers.
She talks to
She
me.
has some dialogue.
We're not going to do the quest because at this rate we're going to, you were a little worried that I don't know how long we can talk about a single mod.
Yeah,
Yeah?
I remember.
That's 40 minutes and we've been through 2 cells, so I'm going to take a look around and then we'll take a look at the other cells as well.
Yep.
Don't think the player would be able to go through that. It seems particularly tight, so maybe I shouldn't be there. Okay, now my task is to find a door to a cell that we have not visited yet. I could COC in it, but I'd feel bad. Okay, I'm back to my windows. Let's go that way.
Yeah, basically you can follow the stream again.
That's what I'm doing. I got it now. The stream holds all the secrets.
Indeed. And then at the bottom of it you can either go left or right, doesn't matter. In the end, you should be able to go to Morrowind's spine.
Little nook, but nothing there. I really like it when curiosity is rewarded, basically. When you sort of go, you know what, there's a tiny little spot there, but I'm going to check it out. And then you find something and it feels so good. I did it, I found the door! Morrowind's spine.
Nice.
When you're working on your mod, especially one this large, do you mod in the construction set until you're done and then you go in the game, or did you make a cell, then go in the game, tweak? Like, how is your workflow, I guess?
Good question. I guess for the most part I'm just building in the construction set. But from time to time I check it out in game, see if everything works so far. But not on a regular basis. It's basically just how I feel, depending on how I feel.
Have you tried using Greatness 7's Blender plugin? Which, from what
no.
I'm told, would, in fact, like to place things in a window. It's a lot more flexible. Like you can move things around. I think when you drop things, there's actual physics, so you could drop 25 coins and they would actually fall rather than you having to place them and then tilt them exactly so that they look like they're flat on the ground. I'd imagine that for someone like you who does those rather large cells with a lot of details, it might be worth looking into and mastering.
Come try ya!
Sounds interesting. Yeah, I had never heard of that. I didn't even know something like that exists. Might be worth checking out, yes.
I have found a really cool spot. It's like a panoramic view. I'm surprised I don't see tourists here. I think I have found the skeleton you were mentioning. I'm gonna stop moving a little bit.
The skeleton, you mean? The big
Surrounded
skeleton.
by a green, poisonous-looking fog.
Yes, indeed. Yes. That's supposed to be Morrowind's spine, basically.
Now I'm trying to remember the vanilla dungeon because those are the names of the cells, but you added the skeleton of the saint and Morrowind's spine. I was going to say leftovers, it's not the right word. Is there anything at all in the original cells, or you decided, you know what, if it's called the saint's carcass, I think is the original cell. There should be the carcass of a saint, and if there's Marovac's spine, there should be a creature, a dead creature there. Like, how is it?
I tried to make some relation, to create some relation between the name of the cell and its contents. But I gotta admit that relation is sometimes a little more explicit and sometimes a little less. So in this case, it's very explicit. With the carcass of the saint cell, it's also quite explicit with the skeleton hanging from the ceiling, which I called the saint. There's definitely a relation there. But in the other cells, well, it might be kind of a stretch. So for instance, in Tainted Marrow, where you just were before, the original idea was to create a cell with a lot of rivers and streams, and basically have that be the metaphorical marrow tainting the rocks, sort of the bones of the cavern. But well, in the end, there weren't really that many streams and rivers in the cell, so I'm not sure how valid that still is. But yeah. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, but you know what? It's just as well, because if it was too obvious and too in your face each time, then it doesn't leave any room for the player's interpretation of things. So it's cool.
That's
like
true.
when I saw the saint, I was like, that's the saint. It makes sense. Cool. I was happy. But then if that was always the same thing in every cell I go, like it would go, another obvious reference. Duh. So
Yep.
I think that works. I have just come across a guard who wants me to rescue him.
Now, where did I put
Yeah. I call him the coward guard. He wants to be rescued. Yeah, that's a very tiny quest. It's basically another fetch quest. He wants you to retrieve a particular scroll of intervention, of divine intervention. You could give one to him right now if you have one in your inventory. Then you'll just take it and disappear. But if you bring him the scroll that he asks for, he will tell you that one of his fellow comrades had one with him. If you bring that to him, then there's a tiny twist to his story.
No, hang on. This guard is asking me to get an intervention scroll from one of his fellow guards so that he can get out of here. But what about his comrade? Is he already dead?
Yeah, he's dead. He's dead.
What a coward! What a coward!
The other guy's
indeed.
dead and in a cage.
And in a cage. Oh well, I haven't done him yet. I was going through the green mist, and recently I've been playing Divinity Original Sin that has those green vapor, but when you walk in it you get poisoned. So for a second I thought I was gonna get poisoned as well. But no,
Okay.
guys, it's quite safe to breathe the green fog. There's no problem there.
Yeah, but that would have been cool.
I think so.
Yeah, but-
It would have been like,
But,
or
but as
some,
it stands, it's just a static asset from OAB again.
disappointment again, Seelof.
Yes, very much so.
No, I'm kidding. It's not a disappointment. It's gorgeous. Now, as we entered the cell, I actually found a door to go to another cell. But now I might have gotten lost once again, so I'll go back to the beginning of the cell. I really like what you've done with the stronghold assets. So there's like that gallery all around, maybe not all around, but partially around the center of the cell. It's very cool.
Yeah, I don't know how that idea came to me. I just thought it might be a cool way to introduce the skeleton, because usually you came from the other direction. I had started building the place coming from the opposite direction, from Carcass of the Saint, from the very
I
first
just
cell.
saw the door that would take me back there, so I am now re-entering. Well, I'm still in Marowak Spine, but coming from Carcass of the Saint.
Right, and then if you go along those strongholds, I don't know, that pathway, I think that makes for a really cool place to just walk and look out at the skeleton.
Yeah, definitely.
I
It's
think
like,
it looks quite epic.
panoramic view. It does. It definitely does. And you go like, what the heck is that?
Exactly. That's what I was going for, pretty much. Yeah.
Haha. And I found a dreamer with a full set of 6 house armor. Let me take a look at that.
Yeah, that's also from the Mamaya Awakened overhaul from the Madness competition team a couple years ago.
Not this habit. Looking good. Of course, I'm floating. Let's go. So there. You can see the boots have a little bit of orcish boots in them. The helmet,
Yeah, maybe.
also a bit orcish and Daedric. It's a game I like to play. guess the bits of armor. Orcish. it's definitely inspired by the orcish armor. But yeah, now I have a cool set of armor. Cool set of armor. And let's see if we can go all the way around. You really can. Okay. I like the fact that you use the stronghold pieces and make it like a place where people live, because there's dreamers, there's Dagoths, so it looks like...
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
I figured those dreamers and cultists, they have to sleep somewhere, right? I mean, they need beds. You know, they need to lie down somewhere.
And also, this is meant to be an important base of the 6th house. So
Indeed.
to have something more than just rocks, I think is really important. Is there anything to find around the actual carcass?
You mean the skeleton?
Yeah, the
big one.
skeleton. Yeah.
Not in terms of items, I believe. But if you recall, there was that woman in the tainted marrow cell with who would give you a quest, and that quest would lead you to that skeleton. Because one of those giant rib bones is actually loose, and you can pick it up and bring it back to the researcher.
Like the really, really big ones? Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I got it. Now I have my own souvenir. Giant rib bone.
Yeah.
200.
And the catch about it is that it's really heavy. I think it weighs about 200 pounds.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So depending what level you have, it might put you in some trouble figuring out how to bring it back to the researcher.
Not a problem for me, because I cheated and gave my character 300 strength. It's not my first time.
Yeah, that should be.
Yeah, that should be it.
That should
do
suffice.
the trick.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, I got a souvenir. It won before her. Now to get back to, I think I saw the door to the Blackened Heart. I've been running around.
Yes, you did.
Everywhere. So. In your mind, is there actually, because you said you figured that people would be coming from the Saint's Carcass, so is there a progression that you feel is more logical to the dungeon?
Well, not really. I mean, I build it in a way that would enable the player to come from any direction, so it doesn't really matter. It's just that that's the way I built it. That's the direction I built it in. So from Carcass of the Saint, I went to Marrow's Spine, and yeah. So that's the way I built it. And Tainted Marrow was one of the last cells that I completed. So yeah, that's why that is.
Focus of the Saint, Blackened Heart is exactly in the opposite direction. I am not surprised. What's it? Do you think you might actually come back to this and add things, or you're quite pleased with what you've added already, and apart from minor fixes you won't do anything?
I don't think it'll be anything beyond some minor fixes, because really I wouldn't know what to add to it. I mean, it's part of the main quest now, and there's not really much left to do, I think. It has 4 additional quests that you can do if you want to, and if you don't want to do them, you can just skip them. And I don't really see any reason to return to this and add more. I think it's big enough.
I would agree. Typically by this time, looking at a mod, we would have come up with a couple of things like, oh, it would be cool if this, and it would be cool if that, but really, I can't. Oh yeah, the poison cloud.
Right, yeah.
But
yeah, that's something I wouldn't be able to add on my own, though. I'd have to ask some expert on how to implement that.
I don't know, because in the game, what do we have in the game? The blight cloud, isn't it scripted already? Maybe not, actually. Maybe not.
Blight cloud doesn't ring a bell.
And there's yeah, I don't know. I'm sure somebody would figure it out. Somebody who can make scripts, unlike me. I am now in the Blackened Heart.
Yeah, I can see that actually.
It is a lot more somber and scary than the other ones. Lots of red, some chains right in the middle. What's the deal with the chains?
Well, if you go down there, you'll find some cages that are attached to the chains.
That actually
this
makes
is basically
me... Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
This is the place where I started to make the dungeon gradually darker and more menacing. This is where we see the first hints of the Corpus disease infecting the place.
Just so that. Lovely.
Yeah. So right at the bottom, there are some cages with some corpses in them. There's a priest, a 6-house priest, and yeah. This is when things are supposed to turn a little creepy.
Yeah, I
so
can confirm. It's really
gone are the mushrooms and the plants.
Yeah.
And the nice lights. But at the same time, this is pretty much just supposed to give you a taste of what's to come.
Yeah, that's definitely, you're like, okay, walk in the park, over. Simply saying that we have proximity mines and lava, but not toxic clouds. And using the lava script wouldn't work because it uses the collision box and the cloud doesn't have one.
Okay.
But I'm sure it can be done. The corpus wall, is that something that because I see the prefix is SLF again, is that something that comes from the Corpusarium mod?
Yes, indeed. Corpusarium and Den of Despair.
Yeah.
Those were the mods I took those assets from.
Yeah, they're nice and gross. You didn't take the parts where there's an eye blinking and a bit of flesh moving, so it could be even more gross.
I did.
You did?
It's just not in this cell. It's in the next and the one after that. There
I
you will
see.
find those things as well.
Progression in levels of yuck.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
I see. Yeah, that would be where the guard is. I found the armor, a corpse, flies buzzing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
this-
one of those corpses should have a scroll of divine intervention.
I'm not going to rummage through the but it's good to know. Good to know. I was gonna say those cages. It did give me, and also the red. It did give me a little bit of a flashback of Oblivion. When you've played Oblivion, or
Yes, I have.
and
Yeah,
when
you
you're
mean
in
those
those really tall
planes of Oblivion.
towers, yeah. And there's one, but
Yeah.
usually the cages are way at the top, I think. But that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, true. There's some similarity, but that's not what I was thinking
No,
about
no,
when
no,
I
no.
was building this.
The cage assets, where do they come from? Is it the Den of Despair as well?
The cages are from the Outlander repository.
Yeah, he did make a lot of dungeon and torture assets.
Yeah,
I'm
I
asking
think so.
because you see, I'm doing my asset shopping as well. So when I want to make a mod, I'll go, hang on.
Yeah,
Rob is
it's a good
saying,
idea actually.
yeah, that's how it is, right? You look at plenty of mods and they give you ideas for your own mod, and then you build upon that.
Yep.
I was going to say, Prof is saying that there was a poison gas cloud on the Morrowind modding history, but it might
Okay,
have been
good to
scripted
know.
or not. Good to know. I mean, the model you have is already gorgeous, but maybe the scripting would be good. And Sip is saying
Yeah.
we need some of Arrow's throbbing meat. You know, his replacer for the corpus meat. Have you seen that?
No, I don't think I have.
You have not. Well, you'll want to check the Nexus and you look for throbbing meat. That's the actual name of the mod. But the screenshots just don't do it justice. Like you install the mod, don't look at the screenshots, and then go to the nearest 6-house base and look for corpus meat, and then be disgusted and impressed at the same time. Like,
Okay, yeah,
it's really
I'll definitely
gross,
check
but
that out.
I look at it every time, even though I'm completely grossed out. And Prof is saying that it was a mesh resource from Lady Eternity.
Okay.
Alright. Yeah, this is really dark. Also, I think more enemies down here. I mean, obviously I've paralyzed all of them, so they can't do anything.
Yeah, I think there are maybe a few more enemies for you to fight.
Yeah, and they tend to be armored as well, so harder to kill.
Yep.
I really like the idea that it's in fact a buried, forgotten stronghold.
Yeah, I do too. I thought, well, kit bashing is also always kind of a risk, maybe. I guess it depends on what you try to kit bash. But I thought those stronghold assets might just work really, really well in this context, especially since the 6 house is known to own its own fortress with Kogurun. And I figured I just try it and see what happens, and I like the result.
Yeah, visually it goes very well with the caves and the rocks.
Yes.
Damn it! Back to where I started. I was looking for the next door. I said, yes, a door. Now I don't know the lore very well. We need R0. He would have told us. But I always felt that the stronghold, the Dunmer strongholds, they don't we don't know that much about them, apart from the fact that they were built by the Dunmers when the Nords were invading, I think. But I don't know why they were abandoned, like the Slaver, Six House, Redorun. Anyone is in there, and we, like, I feel there's a gap there in the lore. So why not?
Yeah, maybe.
Why not?
Maybe. I'm not an expert on lore either. I don't know what the story behind that is. I mean, I've played Morrowind a couple of times, more than just a couple. But yeah, well, I'm not an expert. There's so much stuff in there. I tend to forget most of it.
Oh god, yes. I got the same thing, and for me it even gets worse because I can't tell the difference between a mod and the base game anymore. So
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard. There's so many mods out there that add stuff, that add good stuff, and I mean, how are you supposed to distinguish? At some point, it's just too much.
yeah, exactly. And that's a testimony to how well the mods, or at least, you know, some of the mods are made that you can't tell if it's modded assets because it fits so well in the game or if it's always been there.
Yep, I agree.
Sip is correcting me. Technically speaking, it's the Chimer, true, because that was before the events of the Red Mountain, but no spoiler here. People here might not know what happened at the Red Mountain and everything. Doubtful. But still, they're called Dunmer Strongholds. That's just the name they're given. Is the name given in game? I might be wrong. It might not be in the game. Pretty sure the wiki refers to them as Dunmer Strongholds. But hey.
I'd say that's what it's referred to in game as well.
Because
At
I don't
least
think
that's
the
what I
wiki
call it.
would have right, that's what I say. That's what it is now. I have found the door, well, the gaping hole to Soul's Slumber.
Yeah.
So that's
You can
where I'm
enter.
going. Ooh, yeah, that doesn't look very inviting. Yuck.
No, it definitely doesn't.
Suddenly I regret my 300 speed. I don't want to go so fast. Oh, and you got the animated tentacles as well. Perfect.
Yep,
Perfect.
I got all of it.
I'm so
Yeah.
pleased.
So this is the second to last cell. Originally, it was just one big cell, but there was so much detail. There were like more than 2,500 references in the cell, which is also true for the other cells. But these corpus assets, they are a bit messy. They are not exactly optimized.
Yeah.
So I had to split up the cell. I had to split it in two to improve performance.
Yeah.
Originally, FPS would drop down to like 5 or 10 in here.
And it's perfectly acceptable. I'm pleased when I'm in Balmora and I have 10 FPS. I'm like, this is a good day.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, the place is absolutely gross. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. But this is the place where you can retrieve the soul from the hanging skeleton guy.
All right. You want to give me pointers? So I can...
Basically, you just have to go straight through it. It's not a large scale. At some point, you'll have the option to turn right, but don't take that option. Just keep true and go towards the end of the tunnel. Then you will come across an altar with a cup standing on it. Just pick up the cup and see what happens next.
Yeah, I was afraid you were going to tell me to drink from it, and I don't want to drink from anything. It comes from this place.
No, you don't have to drink from it.
Six House Goblet. Oh
Yes.
shit! I got an animation problem.
Okay.
Pretty sure I installed the mod properly, but the game will crash because animation problems do that. Let me reinstall the assets manually to make sure they're all there. Usually it
Okay.
is just that. It happens. Like sometimes I have people telling me, "Oh, it says it's missing this," and they reinstall it, and then it works. That's what I'm gonna do. And I can. There you go. So you see what's happening. What do I want? I want Ilunivi. Right. And I'm just going to drop it in my data files. I haven't saved at all, but I think I have the autosave going on, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
I think I have it installed. This is my showcase install, so it's very light. It only has 60 mods installed, so nothing. I really hope that I installed a Null's mod that saves automatically. Well, we'll find out. Now loading again. Yes. Oh no. What creature would appear?
Come again?
What is the creature that was going to appear behind me?
Oh, it's a... well, the model is supposed to be a flesh golem made by Quorn. But I didn't label it flesh golem, I called it something else.
Something else, I saw.
Don't remember.
Creature, I think, creature.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a mean, ugly-looking creature that attacks you and that you have to attack in turn and kill and retrieve the soul from.
Yeah. Moment
But I
of
thought
truth.
flesh golem would go nice with the surroundings of the
Yeah,
cell.
that makes perfect sense, actually. If you wanted to up the difficulty, you would actually have to soul trap the creature and then bring a soul gem with the soul of the creature in it.
Yeah, originally the entire quest was planned a little differently. Originally I had wanted to... let's see, what did I plan? Originally there wasn't going to be a goblet for you to pick up and trigger the creature, but there was supposed to be a unique soul gem. And so you'd pick up the soul gem, then the creature would appear, and then you would have to cast a soul trap on it and basically capture the soul of the creature and bring back that soul back to the skeleton. And then you'd be faced with a choice, because I wanted to make the soul of that creature to be a little more valuable than that of a golden saint. So it would be a really valuable item to keep for enchanting purposes. And so you could either keep the soul and leave the skeleton guy hanging there.
Literally.
Or you could, yeah, exactly. Or you could return the soul to him, and then he would turn into a working creature, and he would teach you a spell that would enable you to summon him. So that's what I had originally intended, but all of that would have required MWSE for it to work. And I decided against that because, well, then the OpenMW users would have been sad that they wouldn't be able to play my mod, and I figured that at its heart this mod is supposed to be an overhaul of the dungeon, and the quest is just one tiny aspect of it, so I didn't want to exclude an entire group of players just for this very tiny aspect of it. So I changed my plans and made the quest a little more simple, so now you don't now the player doesn't have to make a choice. So maybe the quest isn't as cool as it could have been, but I figured that was still a good trade-off.
Yeah, I agree. Like the scope of the mod is the overhaul of the dungeon and make it a place worth exploring, and that is done. Completely done. And having a little fancy side quest that people might miss, because that skeleton, the saint, is really tucked away. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
that's true.
sure a number of people people are going to miss it, and that's such a shame. It always makes me sad. Like, I think I had the same issue. It's not an issue when we were looking at Billy Fighter's mod, Silent Island, and he was here with me and he was telling me, oh, there's an Easter egg here and there's an Easter egg there, which is good because I would have missed most of them. And I was like, but maybe you should put a note somewhere to help the players learn that they should look for something here, because I know that I would have missed all of it, and there were really, really cool things to discover. So having hidden things in a mod is really cool, but at the same time it's a little bit of not a waste, that's not the right word, but it's a bit frustrating that there's this little gem in your mod and so many people are just going to miss it.
Yeah, maybe. I guess that's an argument you could make. But I like to hide things. Plus, in this particular case, on the mod page, I added a screenshot of a skeleton. So if people look at that and they haven't encountered it, maybe they'll take another look.
Well, that's fine. The screenshot is all it takes. Something to alert the player that there might be more. I killed the lame corpus, but that's not it. Go away. I killed the vile creature.
Okay, yeah, I think it should have a
special soul gem. I got it. All right.
Right.
Well,
and that you can return to the skeleton later.
Hopefully I'll be able to. Paralyze everyone. There we go. Ooh, this corpus has a different ID. Any reason why? I'm looking at a corpus stalker. Oh no, hang on. I had an old ID selected. Never mind. Don't mind me.
Okay.
Yeah, the assets from the corpusarium, that's what we were talking about with Vegeto. I think they could stand to be reworked. Some of the textures look really big and stretched. And then on the same texture you have the eyes and the hand that have a way more high definition texture. So it's a little bit jarring. Not that I could do any better myself, but it's always easier to comment and criticize than to do it yourself. So,
I personally, I have no understanding of how those things work, textures and meshes. That's just, I have no idea about that sort of thing. I think those assets look great. They're really gross and disgusting. But as I mentioned, they could be optimized.
Yeah.
But that's only something I know because Melchior helped me out again and checked them out. And he realized that, there might be some issues there that, again, I know nothing about. I just felt it when playing through this cell, and I realized that my FPS went down to like 5 or 10, which then forced me to split the cell into, which was the easy and fast fix.
I have now found, all by myself, Saul's Raton.
Very good.
Without cheating, I actually walked to it.
Nice
I really wish when I do those live stream and we go through mods, like I have your mod installed ever since it came out, and I looked around, but I haven't played it, like properly played it. So I always wish that after I talk with modders and we look at their mod, I could just forget about it and then play the game and discover it again.
Yeah, that would be neat. Yeah.
But it's I get lost all the time, so I will know that there is another room somewhere, but I won't be able to find it, so that's cool.
Okay.
Alright, Soul Raton, and we're still going down. There's those dangling things that... Bleh.
Yeah. Always going down. I like to go down in dungeons.
Yeah. Deeper. Those tentacles and those things. I don't remember these. You call them SLF Corp 1002. I don't remember this from the Corpusarium mod.
Yeah, again, I also took some of these assets from the original Den of Despair
Den of
mod.
Despair as well, yeah. They look
Yeah.
good. Like they make me want to dodge as I'm walking. Sorry, a hammer just fell on my face.
They are disgusting.
Yeah, they make
They
me
are
want to
really,
dodge.
really
Like,
gross.
physically, I'm sort of leaning a little bit to the left and to the right.
Yeah, then they fulfill their function.
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Like, oh gosh, am I supposed to jump? Well, I fell.
Yeah, you can just fall down. It's easier than walking along the path.
Move, there we go. Wow, you don't play this if you're claustrophobic.
True.
So I'm finding a little hard to breathe, like I'm going slowly and I'm feeling constricted. Oh, this is going to be amazing in VR. Amazingly horrible, of course.
Yeah, I never checked that out in VR.
I haven't been in VR just yet, but I will one day. I believe I have found other parts of the steel armor. Oh no, different. That's OAB. Imperial Battle Mage Pauldron.
Yep. Yeah, all of steel armor is entirely in that very first large cavern in Carcass of the Saint.
Wow, a lot more to explore there.
Yep.
Well, it's all very beautifully ugly.
Yeah, indeed. And those corpses, those were pretty much a last minute addition to the mod, because those require the now not anymore latest update of OAB. I think there was a new update like yesterday or the day before. But the update that added those corpses came out only a couple of days before I released the mod. So that's when I added them, like at the last minute.
No, that's good. Like I really feel like I am in the bowels of a six house place. I probably literally am, in fact. Alright, I think we're gonna go and try to find a saint again. So we can say, yes,
Good idea.
we did complete a quest. Well, of course we complete a quest. Come on, 2 hours. We're not noobs.
2 hours already? Yeah, 1.5.
Yeah, 1.5. It's not bad. It's pretty good. And then we'll take a look at the library. Cheat menu is
sounds
what
good.
I want. For the library, I have installed the full version of it. So we'll see your library. Teleport Ilunibi, thank you. Oh, I typed in MC. Back to the Carcass of the Saint. And now let's play a game. Let's see if all by myself I can find the saint.
Well, if you know where it is, it's not that hard to find, actually. Or at least it shouldn't be.
Ooh, and I'm going to TCL because I don't have good agility. Oh yeah. Whee! Not this one. I was so sure it was this one though. Come on.
Yeah, you're at the right place. You're at the right place.
And yet, oh, I went
right there.
little. Yeah, I went a little too far below. Hello once again, Saint. Oh, I can't pick the mushrooms off its body.
No, because it's
It's part of the model.
It's a mesh in itself. Yeah.
Hey Billy, hi. We were talking about you and your Dungeon Silent Island just a few minutes ago. You have returned. Do you have my soul? I do. I give it back. Push it into my skull. Grr. As you wish. Thank you, mortal. Back off a bit. Did I do that properly? No, I still need to actually literally.
Yeah, you need to activate it.
Ah, gorgeous. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
and that's all Melchior's work. Melchior did all of that. But it's also reassembling.
Wow. With the soul sticking out, I'm getting a Diablo 2 flashback right now.
And that's exactly what I was going for. Because I'm a huge Diablo 2 fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about Diablo having that soul gem in his skull.
Yeah, definitely. I think anyone who's played Diablo 2 will make the connection.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so again, this animation, all of that, Melchior did all of that. So in case Melchior's listening, thank you. Couldn't have made it without you.
For Pimp My Shrine, he did something similar. We have the statue of Bernicus, that minor Daedra, and we have two quest line. There's a quest line that splits. You have two ways, and one of the ways you can destroy Vernicus, and same thing. He had the statue collapse like that, and it's just so impressive because it's not something you see in the game, like animated things. Sure, now we have animated fog, animated drops. We do have a few things, flies and glowbugs. We do have a few atmospheric animated things, but they're a loop essentially. But something like that, part of a story, part of a quest, you don't expect it. So it's always, wow, very impressive. Just like Julien is saying, wow, that's what it is. I think I've had enough of this talk about you're on. No. I like gifts. I want to see the weapon. Oh, he's given me 4 grand soul gems. Maybe I was too greedy. Yeah. I should have gone the other way.
He'll only give you the weapon after you collected the souls. But if you want to see the weapon, you can just kill him now and take the weapon off his corpse.
Free saint. Soul Harvest. Very, very good name.
Yeah, another Diablo 2 reference, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Diablo 2 there's an item, also a scythe, I don't know how to pronounce that, that is called Soul Harvest.
Speaking of Diablo 2, have you also played Diablo 3, or you stopped there because you wanted to finish on a good note?
No, I have also played Diablo 3. Yeah.
And what do you think of it?
I liked it, but I didn't like it nearly as much as I liked Diablo 2.
I had the same feeling, but the first time I played Diablo 3 was soon after release, and I was so bitterly disappointed I did not even finish the game. And then years later, after Reaper of Souls, I think is the name of the add-on.
Yes.
And people told me, oh, but it's much better now, it's really, really good. So I gave it another try, and I did enjoy it. But as I was playing it, I was like, yeah, it's fine, but it's not as good as Diablo 2. Because Diablo 2 is so much. But to be fair, I went back, I did reinstall, and I tried recently again, to reinstall Diablo 2. And I don't know that it's so superior, especially in terms of quality of life things. I'm quite happy with some of the improvements, like the inventory, or play with mods, obviously. And then you have
that's how I do it. And I've been playing on and off Diablo 2 for in single player, but with mods for a couple of years now. And that's actually quite a lot of fun, because there are some dire needed quality of life improvements, like an effectively infinitely large chest, for instance, so I can just collect all the items that I want without having to worry that I might run out of space. But in terms of Diablo 3 was okay. I got it on release day back in 2012. Jesus, it's already 10 years old. And I liked it for a while, but it became quite clear very early on that the game was basically unfinished, that they released an unfinished product. And so I stopped playing for a while.
Isn't that the way it is with games? It's
Sorry?
a thing. That's how it is with games. Publish it, even if it's not finished, and then you release the rest of the game, but you call it a DLC. People buy it again.
Yeah, that's true. Although they had been working on it for quite a few years at that point, and still it was unfinished.
Yeah.
And then I returned to it with the add-on, and then I too enjoyed it a lot more. Even though I still wasn't a fan of the itemization. It had improved, but still wasn't the same to me as in Diablo 2. And itemization has always been the most important part for me about those games. And so eventually I just stopped it for good. I don't know, it's been many years since I last played Diablo 3. But Diablo 2 is a game that I like to return to every once in a while. I've been playing it on and off pretty much since release day, back in 2000.
When we got Diablo 2, we got Diablo 2 and I was super hyped to play it. And it was still on the CD at the time. And we finally got the CD and I put it in the CD drive. And I have no idea why, but smoke came out of the computer and the CD drive was burned. And I was like, shit, what did I do to the computer? I didn't have a car at the time, so I took the computer, it was a big ass thing, put it in a bag, took the bus to go to town, went to the nearest PC shop we had. There weren't too many, it was in Slovakia. And I was like, put a CD drive in it, make it work, I need it. And the guys were nice. And I got home and I was able to play the game and I was like, okay, good. But it made me take the bus with my big computer under my arm because I wanted to play it so badly.
Yeah, rightly so. It's a great game. It's a great game. I've enjoyed it a lot.
No, that's the temple. I've made it to Vivek and I got lost, so we know everything is normal.
Well, you can find the library in the same place that you can find it in vanilla. So
yeah. And
I would assume it's not a problem to find it.
That's the high thing. No, I always get lost in there. Canon office. See, I went to the wrong side. Do it every time.
The thing with my library is that there's now just one entrance to it. Before there were 5. Vanilla had 5 entrances. I have no idea why they implemented 5 entrances, so I reduced that to only 1.
Was in the right place. I know this game, guys. I play it every week. I know it. Back to the Hall of Wisdom then. Get there. Then not getting lost means we'd have an imposter? Yes, possibly. Canon Office, Vivek Temple, High Fane, Hall of Justice, Library of Vivek. I actually had to use the map. Pitiful, I tell you. I'm an imposter, pretending to be an expert.
Well, to be fair, it's a confusing place.
It is a confusing place. And my way to find the library is just to go around and go through every door until at last I have reached my destination.
I used to do that myself, yes.
I still do. You say you've played the games quite a few times. Do you play while you mod, or do you actually have shifts? Now, for 5 months I'll be modding, and the next 5 months you'll be playing.
When I mod, I don't play, because, well, I don't have time to play when I mod.
Obviously, you don't have a life anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, in fact, I haven't actually played the game
There is
for
someone watching me. I can tell.
almost 2 years now, 1.5 to 2 years. I mean, like actually played. I mean, I play tested the mods that I put out, but like a true playthrough, I haven't done that since May of 2020, I believe. But before that, I used to play it on a pretty regular basis. I did like 5 or 6 playthroughs in like 5 or 6 years.
That's fair.
Each with 150 to 200 hours playtime. So I used to play it quite a bit, but I don't know, the opportunity hasn't really arisen in the last 1.5 years or so.
So I'm able to say that you are one of the modders who plays the game the most. Because modders don't play the game, or hardly ever play the game. I am in the library and I have found a ladder that is set as
Yeah, I
a
just
door.
saw that.
You saw that, right?
Just
So the
saw
delay
that.
is not that big anymore. That's good
Yeah, that's actually not supposed to happen. I might have to take a look at that. That ladder is not supposed to rotate.
It's because it's a door item, so without a destination, it does what every doors do, which is rotate.
Yeah, definitely.
Just
Yeah,
an info.
I have to fix that. I wasn't even aware that was a thing.
Well, that's part of the reason why we look at the mods.
Hmm.
I always love water features in mod. I think they're so pretty.
Yeah, water is nice.
It's pretty. Very pretty. Alright, so the mod, let's talk about the mod a little bit. The mod started as overhauling the library.
Correct.
And
That's
then
why I called it Library of Ivec Overhaul. Which apparently confuses everyone but me. But oh well, what can I say? I mean, that's what it is to me, first and foremost. It's a library overhaul. And all the rest, all the other stuff that I added, that's really, in my mind, that's just to flesh out the library. It's basically a reason for the player to return to that library, because I figured, well, the vanilla library, there's really no reason to go there except for the main quest and maybe one side quest. And so after I had built this place, I figured I should give the player a reason to come back here. And at the same time, Rubberman approached me because I had posted some screenshots on the not on the Nexus, on the Discord server. And he said to me, like, hey, I've got this this book that I modeled. Do you want it? And he showed me some pictures of it. It looked pretty nice, pretty amazing actually. And so I said, yeah, sure, I'll take it. And yeah, I decided quickly that it looked a little too good for the library to just put it on a shelf and let it like collect dust with the other books. So I decided to create a quest around it. And that's when things started to get a little out of hand. And I started adding quests and dungeons and a potential player home and dialogue and scripts. And yeah, so that kept me busy like 2 or 3 more months until I think I just barely made it in time for the main Modathon competition. Yeah, I think I released it on June 1st or something, so just in time.
Getting it short, but that means you got an achievement.
I did, yeah, I did. I got a few actually for this mod.
I'll be, yeah, I saw that on the page. I'll be honest, when Derek published the achievements, I was like, okay, here's the list of achievement. So I need to publish an item mod, say on the 1st of May, good. And then there's something for the 15th of May, it should be a companion, gotcha. And and I planned them so that I would get as many as possible, not with as few mods as possible, because in the end I made a lot, but I was like, okay, I need to save one for the 1st of June as well. So I mean that's part of the fun. I really like those little alcoves you have with a single desk. So when you take a book, you have a place to read it and study it and take note if you need to.
Yeah, those are nice.
Nice, yeah.
Sometimes there are people there working, reading, writing.
Like you have them scripted to appear and disappear at different times of the day, or that's what happens, but we don't see it.
They are scripted. They appear based on. Well, I pretty much just copied the scripts from animated Morrowind, and those are. I think those scripts set the NPCs to appear with a 40% chance. So since I added quite a few NPCs, the chance is quite high that there's always someone there.
Not for us right now. They're a little shy. Yes, I got one.
Yeah. That's bad luck then.
I came here to study, not to be live on Twitch and comment on my research that is highly illegal. Very common. Right. I absolutely like that because, like you said, it makes the word alive. Like you'd come back and you go, huh, I see. I'm not the only one in this world. Some people come here to read. Some people come here to browse. I like that.
Yes, exactly.
I like that
yes.
a lot.
Of course, one of the new NPCs is permanent, but he's also not animated. That's the curator of the library, who will give you the quest and send you on your way.
Is it Untitled?
Yes. Yes. He will task you with finding the book.
And it has a lot to say, and I'm so rude, I'm not even reading it. I'm like, okay, I'm in. Guys, when you play the mod, you read the dialogue, okay? You have to understand it is a pain to put this dialogue in the game, so you're gonna read it. That's how it is.
And this was a true pain in the ass, adding all this dialogue. It's basically the first real quest mod that I made. I had implemented a very, very tiny quest in my Verandas overhaul, but that one's really, really tiny and only served the function of me figuring out the dialogue system. So when I worked on this mod, I wanted to try something a little more complex, and boy, was it exhausting. I mean, that was just, yeah. I mean that's what I explained earlier. That's why I started working on the new Illunibi mod, because I just wanted to slap some things together without having to worry about dialogue and scripts and whatnot. Because working on this totally burnt me out. That was just something I never wanted to do again. But I ended up doing it again. So, yeah.
Oops, I did it again. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I can totally relate to what you're saying. I was going to say something. I didn't want to interrupt you, and now I forgot.
Yeah, that happens.
Typical. Yeah, I was going to complain about doing quest mods that putting the dialogue in a construction set is one thing. Writing the dialogue is one thing. I have no talent for writing, so whatever I write is really bland, but move along. Then you have to put it in a construction set, and the structure is not that hard to understand, the way things are filtered and linked and everything. But I find that if you stop at some point and then you have to come back to it, and you go like, where was I? What was I doing? How far did I get?
Yeah.
So you can't stop. You have to finish your dialogue, otherwise you can't come back to it. And then there's the play testing, because at least for me, inevitably somewhere I put an equal 0 instead of an equal 1, or superior or equal to 1 instead of just superior to 1, and so on and so forth, little things, and you go in the game and it breaks your quest. That's it. Cannot play. And then you have to go back and go,
I can relate to that.
God.
Yeah.
So this is
playtesting
it.
may have been playtesting may have been the most annoying part about it, because after I implemented the quests or parts of it, I figured, I got it. Everything should work fine, and so I went in game, tested it, and I didn't even manage to get the quest because something just was wrong, and I had to go back into the construction set, fix it, go back into the game, see, yes, it works now, but only shortly after that I encountered another problem, had to go back into the construction set, fix that one, go back in game, and so forth. And so forth.
It's so frustrating because you've
annoying.
made your mod, and now you want to play it and you want to share it, but you can't. You have to do those very, very boring things.
Yes. Although I will say that even the writing part, so basically the actual creative part of it, I didn't enjoy that either, even though I like writing. But writing dialogue for Morrowind, that wasn't fun for me, because you want to give the player choices to make. But every choice has a different outcome. And then you have to keep writing for all those different outcomes. But maybe each different outcome entails another choice, which gives you more outcomes. It's so complicated that my head was buzzing, and I didn't enjoy that at all. I mean, sometimes I like to write a straight story, but having basically a story where the player can make choices, that was hard to wrap my head around.
I'll confess to you, sometimes, you can't do it too often, but sometimes in my result window where you put choices for the dialogue, I put choice blah 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 number 1, and then blah 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 number 2. Whatever the people click, they get the same choice. It's like it fits. I made it so that the answer works for both. But and when I do that, I can't do it often, otherwise it just wouldn't work. But when I do that, I do get a little bit of joy thinking there's one line of dialogue I won't have to write, while giving the illusion of choice to the player.
Yeah, sneaky.
Yeah,
Sneaky.
and now I confess to the whole internet. Okay,
It's a good idea,
time.
though.
It's like, if it's done very, very moderately, then it works. Delina is saying that's what she does. She writes stories instead of quests. Yes, but that's Delina. That's because you're actually good for actual writing. I like Morrowind dialogue, but it can be a mess when it's overly complicated. It like, you just need to keep track of it in your head. But the moment you lose track, that's like, Which is why when I get a report on a really old mod, like 10 years old mod, and say, oh, I get a dialogue loop there, and I go, oh no. I'll have to reinvestigate my own mod that I forgot about. I have arrived in Surpool. Obviously, I cheated. You're supposed to find the place by yourself, and people died. Oh yes, I remember that place. I have visited it because I stumbled upon this. I am now outside on the beach with the blood everywhere and the bodies. I had found that. I didn't realize that was the dungeon to your mod.
Yeah, the idea is that, well, someone was there before you, so all the pirates are already dead, and the place has been searched. So someone was looking for something. Well, obviously the book.
But they didn't take the high quality torches from the barrel.
Oh no!
Like, and a chitin war axe. Well, those raiders were not good. I even found some yeast to bake a cake.
Yeah, there's some loot in there, but it's not great loot. It's just some very basic stuff. Some
I'm
iron
guessing
weapons.
I can take a look. Yeah, you used vanilla containers. Some vanilla
Yeah.
containers and some OAAB as well. I see. Meaning,
Yeah.
because I have
But there's-
wares installed, I get some, like in the food barrels. I get some items from
Yeah.
various food mod.
Yeah. Yeah, that works too, yeah. I didn't place anything too valuable in the dungeon because there's no real enemy there. I'm not sure, there might be a couple of rats, maybe, but obviously those are easy enough to overcome. So I didn't want to place anything like valuable in there. It's
You
just some
really
very
were
basic
not
stuff.
generous. I found a bottle of grief so far. That's the best loot.
Yeah. It'll have to serve for now.
I'm surprised the pirates didn't drink it. I don't think they're very good pirates.
Well, who knows what they've drunk already.
There were a few empty bottles, it's true. And I'm going down. But now I know better.
Always going down.
I know better, and that's the way it is. But I might have reached a dead end. No, nope, we're still going down.
Always going down, yeah.
So, how large is this dungeon compared to Ilunibi that we just took a look at?
Very, very small. It's just this one cell.
Oh, how
It's a very basic
disappointing.
dungeon.
How disappointing.
This one is very basic, yeah. It's basically a vanilla-sized dungeon.
With verticality.
Nothing special in terms of size. Yeah, with some nice verticality. And some nice detailing, I think. But of course, there's another dungeon in this mod. It's a little bigger.
Not the book I want. Alright. Do you want to point me towards... Oh, there's one enemy that survived.
No, that's not an enemy. You have
That's...
to talk to her.
Well, I'm diseased and she doesn't want to talk to me.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, actually, did you give her a specific greeting? Or a topic?
I think I gave her a greeting.
Then you might want to change that. Like, change the order, because I am blighted, so her greeting is not so close. I don't want to catch what you've got.
Okay. And she keeps saying that, even if you approach her again?
Yeah. Wait, who are you? No, now she talks to me. Okay,
Oh.
good.
There you go.
I'm talking about the Book of Shadows.
Yes.
Do I want to kill her?
You can.
Nah,
Doesn't matter.
I'm telling her to get out. I'm so nice. I've already contaminated
Yeah.
her with corpus, so...
Yeah. So this is because when we were talking about New Illunaby, you asked me if I was thinking about maybe returning to the mod and adding more stuff. This, in this case, is actually something I considered to come back to. If you let this pirate live, for her to show up in the tavern in Sadrith Mora. I forget what it's called. But in that,
There's
like, in that shady...
Farah in the hole and Dirty Muriel, I think.
Dirty Muriel, that one, by the Imperial Fort. I think that's the shady one where the Thieves Guild has
that's the
their
one.
hideout. So I was thinking about having that pirate show up there, if you let her live. And maybe she'd give you another quest for you to find something. And I thought about adding maybe another dungeon to it. So that's something I have been thinking about. But so far I haven't done anything in that regard. But it's something I'm considering.
Okay, that's good news. And then if you want to add more stories with pirates, you should talk with Billy Fighter, who's our resident pirate expert.
done.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm aware. I've seen his stuff. It's really nice.
But I'm thinking currently, not counting Melchior because he can do everything, so that's cheating. Currently,
True.
you and Billy, right? You and Billy Fighter might be the top dungeon modders in the last couple of years. Like when we think dungeon and quest mod, there's Billy's more quest mod and you're dungeon with quests. But if the two of you got together, just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Just saying, yeah. I wouldn't mind working together with other people. I mean, if anyone enjoys writing quests and scripts but doesn't feel like building the interiors, I mean, I'd be up for it.
Modder looking for a dialogue slave.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That'd be neat.
that's what happens usually during the modding madness. You're like, we need somebody to script and we need somebody who can write. You need one of those at least. I need to go back to the
But
library.
nobody
I
wants
think.
to do it.
No, there's always people there's a number of people who can write really, really good dialogue actually.
All right.
But I'm not
Yeah, you
going
have
to
to
give
go
you
back
the
to the
names
library.
because then you'll take them in your team and I won't have anyone.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes, back
Whenever
to
there
the
is
library.
another competition. Yeah, you have to go back, talk to the curator again, and he will send you to some guy outside of Margan.
I don't have a new dialogue for him. Maybe I missed something because I just flew over that dungeon.
You really only had to talk to the pirate, and I forget what she would tell you.
Well, I do get, after she told me everything she knew, I told her to leave, but it was, where was it? Well, I read something that I had to go back. I did not invent it for sure. I would expect her to kill her, but I have to check with Marin. Exactly, I get the journal entry that tells me I have to check with him.
Yeah. Check his topics again.
There we go, that's... Oh, of course, now I know it, because I got the greeting because I'm diseased again. That's why.
Yeah, that makes
Because you
sense.
started with the greeting as well. That's one of the problems when you and I don't do that anymore. For the quest, I create my own topics and I start them at the beginning with a little script. So all my topics are added from the beginning, and I don't use the greetings anymore. Especially if it's with vanilla NPCs, because other mods might have a greeting that comes on top, and if you're diseased or if you're naked, if you have a high bounty, something could happen before that, or somebody else mod the same NPC.
Yeah, that makes sense. I might have to check that out. Fortunately, in this case, it's not vanilla NPCs. It's just all the NPCs that have dialogue.
I think he still told me first to get away from him, and then when I talked to him the second time, I got his proper greeting. So it's not broken.
Yeah.
But I had to talk to him again.
Yeah, my knowledge of the dialogue system is very basic. Let's put it that way.
There isn't that much. Then it's just little quirks and things that you're told that you shouldn't do afterwards.
Yeah.
And you find out years later. The killer was indeed, yes. Betrayal Temple, yes. Margan, go. He lives in a small hut on a hillside outside of Margan. I know the way. Up. What was your favorite part making that mod? Was it coming up with the story, with the dungeon?
I'd say the best part, well, ironically, were the dungeons. I mean, I'm probably the only person still referring to this as an overhaul mod, as a library overhaul mod. Yeah, but the dungeons were certainly the most fun about it. Especially the second dungeon, the large one.
Okay, looking for it. Yeah. I hear the crazy steps of my character. Looking for the hut on the hill. Hut on the hill. The hut is a little outside of Margan.
Yes. So from the Stilt Strider, you
I
have to
think-
turn left.
Oh. That's what I did, and that hut is the one for the Mages Guild. Yeah, Hulene's hut, so that's not what we want.
I think it's west of Margan, if I'm not mistaken.
It's
And it's a very short trip.
Maybe you meant right from the Stilt Strider? Because if
Well,
you...
if you look at the Stilt Strider, then it's right, yes.
Oh. Okay. Come on, it's a hut. It's big. There's no way I can miss it. Even me, even me.
You could check the screenshot section on the Nexus page. That should give you a pretty clear idea of where it is.
Like a noob, I'll do that. I'll do that just because I don't want to waste everyone's time. of me looking for things and looking confused. The library. Read me. I mean, it's not just called library, it's called read me.
Yeah, that's my attempt at humor.
That works. Alright, I see the screenshot of the house. Let's see if there's enough to identify it.
There should be. I mean, Margan, you can see Margan, the city in the background.
I see. It's a little... Okay. I know where we're going, guys. I got it. Yes. Easy. That looks like a pretty nice place. Look at that. I mean, that little terrace in front of it with the bread, the bench, the lantern, a rope even. You want to catch a cliff racer with a lasso.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, just the backyard that may or may not be abandoned has more detail than any vanilla house. So
That's true. Yeah.
he likes
Yeah, I was going
eggs.
for some cozy feeling.
Ornir, what do you want? Why do you just waltz in here as if it was your own place? Wait, you're here because of my son. What do you know about my son? That wretched little creature. He betrayed the temple, I'm sorry to say. Doesn't sound like him. Back when he was still talking to me, he would never shut up about his precious temple. Really? Yeah, oh, he doesn't like the temple anymore. Anyway, I have to get a book. It was stolen. Where can I find him? I'm gonna keep listening to the man without reading what he says. I'm sorry. Keep listening. He's gonna get tired before me.
He likes to ramble on. He's a little impolite. Let's put it that way.
Well, he's an elder, Dunmer. I guess he expects some sort of a respect. In one of my mod, I got an NPC to ramble on about alchemy, and it would just like you did. Like I would give the player a chance to interrupt them, but if they listened till the end, they got 2 points in alchemy, which I felt was a nice reward for having the patience to go through that. But if they just clicked the way I did, I'm thinking 2 points in alchemy is too good. It's still a book.
Yeah,
the
that's
book
a
of
cool
shadow.
idea.
No, do you have that actually when you make the mod, when you build it, and you do a little something, and you sort of go, I wonder if they'll realize what I've done here, or I wonder if they'll notice what I did there.
What do you mean exactly? Like, what did I do where?
Like, for example, when you put that Daedric helmet there,
Yeah.
did you sort of imagine what the player would do and how they would feel as they're going through the dungeon and they may or may not see that Daedric helmet?
Well, I would hope that in that particular case, I would hope that they see it, notice it, and be like, "Hey, that's a lucky find. I'm lucky to stumble upon it, basically."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do think about that kind of stuff. I like to give the players some hidden things they can discover for themselves without me pointing the finger to it. I do enjoy that.
Little surprises. Anyway, Ornir, apart from talking for a long time, also wants me to retrieve his ebony glaive. Oh, from his son.
Indeed. Yeah. Indeed.
He didn't tell me
So
where
it's
I can
another
find
quest,
him.
but it brings you to the same place.
Is it the Zainab camp? I have to go through there and find a place. Perfect. I got this. We are going to Rimn.
Yes.
I know
Yes,
the way.
it's located somewhat south of the Zainab camp in the Gracelands region.
Rim. Was it Rim double M or Rim MN?
MN.
And there I am, cheating to get there, and I can't even do that properly. Pathetic.
Cheating's good too.
Alright, I found it.
Nice.
Directions were not that hard to follow. It feels so empty of mushrooms and waterfall.
Yeah, waterfalls are more
Later.
Later. At the bottom.
But there's this
mushrooms.
dust.
There are barely any mushrooms.
I see them. But there's this dust around there. So it's still pretty scary. What are you? Mold Cave from OAAB. I did not recognize the texture. Not that it's interesting for anyone but me. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get back on track now. You put spiders in there.
Yes, I did.
Oh, joy.
You don't like spiders.
I mean, in real life, I'm not too worried about them unless it suddenly appears right in front of my face, in which case a butterfly would startle me as well. But
Okay.
in the game, like they're in my face and they want to kill me, but the one in the corner of my living room, not so much. And this one looks funny. It
Okay.
looks like but it's the same texture as the mushroom. Of course, it's a parasol spider. That's why.
Yes.
Makes
Also
sense.
from OAAB.
They've evolved that way so that they have a camouflage when staying on the parasol trees. That's where you should be, spider. Not here. Fortunately, it cannot harm me because I have disabled the AI, so it just stays there.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I started building that dungeon, again, I didn't have any plan for it. I just started putting things together in the construction set. And as I do so often, I just decided right at the beginning that I would go down deeper into the earth. So that's how that first section came to pass, where you're just following the path downwards. And well, at some point, then I decided that I would probably have to reach the bottom at some point. And that's when I struggled for a bit to figure out what I wanted to do at the bottom. And eventually I settled on, let's put a giant lake down here. And that's probably the point when things started getting out of control again. Because at first the cave with the lake, that section was even bigger than it is right now. But I learned pretty quickly that I had to reduce the size, otherwise it would just not have been handy anymore. And I think it's still large enough. Took me a lot of work to detail the place. And those islands that you can see popping up here and there, those weren't there in the beginning. But without them, the place just looked way too empty. So I had to come up with a solution to fill the place with stuff, with objects and places to
I
explore.
can't imagine the hours you've spent detailing that, because sure, OAAB gives you, like, this is a model, there's another one here. It gives you big pieces to build big spaces. But then
It does, yes.
But then, like you said, if you don't add all kinds of little things, it just looks empty, and it's worse than having a smaller empty place, basically.
Yes, indeed. And so I had some trouble with that, but I think the end result looks kind of neat. I like it.
It is very neat.
I especially like the place with the ancestral tomb, the entrance to the tomb.
Yeah, I've seen it.
That place looks really nice. I like that place a lot.
With the broken column.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Very nice. Not let's have a picnic here nice, but
No, certainly not the right place for a picnic. No.
good hunting ground if you like crunchy spider legs though. Alright, and we are now in a tomb with, well, that is currently half collapsed. Hopefully nothing is going to fall on our heads.
No, it won't. The mod doesn't have that kind of functionality.
Well,
That would have entailed scripting and whatnot, and I
Talk to
have
people.
no idea
Talk
of
to
that.
people. A falling rock, totally doable.
Yeah, well, doable maybe, but not for me.
Yeah, I know, but that's when you recruit people.
Yeah, maybe I should. Yeah, well, the cave, the tomb is pretty much caved in. A lot of rocks lying around. It's also pretty large. I think it's easy to get lost in there.
Oh no. Not for veteran Morrowind players such as me. Billy, you're saying you're lagging. Some people did mention that there was quite a bit of a lag. Try refreshing your browser. That will probably help, at least for a little bit. Okay, let's go get lost then. I got a feeling that if I want to find what I'm looking for, I should take the path that goes down.
Indeed, the general direction is down, but you can also go up.
And shinies! I found pearls and rubies and emerald and a daybreak throwing knife.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff in that tomb. There's also some unique items I added. In fact, I think you were just talking about it like last week or so with Ruffin Vanguard. I added his Raideron Exile armor to this tomb, as well as the Daedric Bastard Sword made by Olaf. You can find both of those things in the same place, but you need a key. It's behind a locked door, and you can't unlock it with a lockpick or a spell. You need the key. Because the door is
You need to look
scripted.
for something and find it.
Yeah.
This is a very cool room. I'll stop moving for a bit so you can catch up. Prof, you're saying that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think waiting for you makes a lot of sense because I'm laying that far behind. You're still flying around Margan. I don't think it makes sense for you to wait for me to catch up.
Okay, yeah, I'm in the tomb and it looks good. Just take my.
Yeah, that's nice to hear.
Yeah, that's a massive lag. And yeah, no, I'm checking. It's not on my end.
I don't know what's going on.
Well, I mean, it is possibly partly my fault because I used to be affiliated with Twitch, and when you're affiliated, when you can ask people to give you money, you get ads, and also you do get somewhat of a little bit of priority for the speed, but I cancelled that because I hated the ads and yeah. So I have 0 priority, so it might be me. But I think it's the first time that people tell me they have such a big lag. Or maybe they were afraid to tell me before. What is it, chat?
Who knows? Who knows?
This is a fairly large place. Lendora's
It is, yeah.
ancestral tomb, lower level. Let's try to find that door.
Yeah, that's pretty much at the bottom. To find that door, you have to go down and down and down.
Going down. There, I missed a corridor. I was going further down. Foolish. Keeps going down. There's 3 different paths, but I know the correct one. It's the one that goes down.
Indeed.
So for your next dungeon, you want to trick everyone, and you make them start at the top of the dungeon. You let them go all the way down, but your quest item was right there at the top. They'll never see it again.
Yeah, that might be cool, yeah.
Just be ready to get messages. Seelof, your mod is broken. I went all the way down and I could not finish my quest there.
Of course, there's a little of that already in this particular tomb, because I mentioned the locked door where these unique items are behind. And that door is... To find that door, you have to go down. But to find the key for that door, you have to go up.
Tricky. Oh, right. So now I'm in the lower tomb and there's actually a bit of lava.
Yep.
This is not a
And there will
welcoming
soon be a
place
lot
at
more.
all. The enemies, so far I've seen skeletons, but I'm level 1. Are the enemies leveled with the player or hand placed?
I think I hand placed them,
And now
but I don't remember what level I put them on.
Oh, you created your own skeletons as well.
Yes.
So
I don't remember why.
I was gonna say, did you make them stronger and weaker, or weaker than vanilla skeletons?
Maybe. I'm not sure. That was a while ago. I can't remember why I did that.
I am in a
Let's just say I had a very good reason.
No doubt, no doubt. I'm in a very, very large cave with lava falling from the ceiling.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite places in the dungeon.
But again, there's still a path with a little bit of the Veloci architecture. So
Yes.
you really get the idea that it used to be a place, but now it's just abandoned and dangerous, but still going down.
Yep.
Nice OAAB assets with the lava as well.
Yep, indeed. Always OAB assets for all sorts of things.
I think most of the landscape and interiors and exteriors overhaul that we get, a lot of it is thanks to OAAB, because it just inspired people.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, those assets are really nice to work with, and really easy to handle. I like them a lot. Probably wouldn't mod as much as I do without OAAB.
Something's wrong. I'm going up now.
Then you missed your turn.
So something was really wrong. I was trying to joke, but no. Yeah, I'm just going back into the tomb, aren't I?
If you're going up, then you should turn back and go back to the lava sea or river, and then turn left. Where you would also go up, but only very briefly.
Okay. Those are simple explanations. There's no way I can mark that up. Yeah, that looks good. Arriving at a large room. Ooh, with people burning in a pool of lava.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that's the right place.
Beautiful.
There should be a guy standing behind there.
Yep, I see him. I like the little incense. Can't get the ID for it. And the guy is paralyzed, he can't do anything, but he has the ebony staff. He's about to perform an ancient ritual.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm just clicking
Yeah,
on
there's
continue.
Yeah, there's a couple of different options, different choices that the player can make here. Each have their different outcomes. So largely speaking, there are, I think, 3 outcomes.
Well, you'll be pleased to
If I
know that I
remember
have
correctly.
read nothing. So when I play the game for myself and without cheating, I will be able to enjoy those dialogues and discover them. I have the book and I have the glaive, so I'm going to quickly go back to Vivek, where I'm hoping to get some good light so we can take a look at that book, since that's how the bigger part of the mod started.
Yeah, that book is pretty much the genesis of it all.
Yeah.
But I can take no credit for that book. That book was made by Rubberman.
Wow, I have reached my maximum memory, so I'm gonna have to reload the game. Though I think we can do it. Yeah, that was my game crash because I used too much memory. Just reloading. I'm sure I have a note to say somewhere at some point. We'll finish that quest, even though we just I cheated my way through it. But I really want to take a look at that Chroma mine for Gnisis you've been working on. I know it's an early whip. It's very early, but
yeah, I would have suggested that we go there next.
Good.
And maybe leave the other 2 mods out.
Yeah, though, you know what? The other mod, I do have the Stronghold, but the Mournhold one, I really do like it. I think it's an underrated mod of yours. So hopefully people who find out about your mods through the more popular one, README and Illunibi, hopefully they'll get curious and they're gonna go, okay, what else has this guy done? And
yeah, not much. Just 2 more mods.
But you know, they'll check it out and enjoy
it. The Mournhold one, I don't think I've looked at it ever since I released it. I haven't looked at it in a very long time. I don't even know if I still like it. I know I liked it when I released it, but really I have no idea how I would view it now.
I teleport to the outside of Vivek, thinking we'll have good lighting to take a look at the book. It's night and it's raining. Typical.
Yeah.
Typical
Tough luck.
Morrowind, just annoying me. All right. So taking a look at the book. One thing, if you go back and update, I see the book icon doesn't have transparency. The background of it is completely black. See if you see what I mean.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
depending on the like, if people have their UI completely black, then they won't see the difference. But a lot of people have a little bit of transparency in the background in their UI, because there's a slider in vanilla Morrowind. It's not even a modded thing. In which case you see the square behind the icon. It's really a tiny thing. Book of Shadow
Okay.
looking good.
Yeah, the book looks amazing. And the poem inside of the book was also written by Rubberman. I changed nothing about it.
Nice. All right, let's pick up that book. I am not even going to turn it in. That way I'm not even going to spoil the quest reward for it.
Yeah, that's fine, although the quest reward isn't anything too special. I guess the real special part about it was the adventure itself, the dungeons. Yeah, the reward. I mean, basically, you can choose
Say
whether
what
you want to
you
keep
want
the
and
book
go
or
away.
take the reward. I'd keep the book, but maybe that's just me.
Well, it is a unique item and it looks good for anyone who's
Yeah.
a pack rat, or without being a pack rat, just a collector. Ooh, okay. I just got a tiny bit of a FPS lag, but I was probably loading the cell. Yes. I'm good now. It's just when I entered the cell. Okay, here we are. So it feels a bit odd knowing that I'm the only one seeing it right now. But
So where are you right now?
I have just entered the Gnisis Egg Mine.
Ah, okay, yeah. You want to know what I see on the screen? For me, you're still in the player.
Ah. No, I left a while ago. I crashed, then I loaded,
Yeah.
then I went out, had
Yeah.
a sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever's going on there. Yeah, so the egg mine. Yeah, I've been working on that for a couple of weeks now. Well, a little more than a month, I suppose. I started working on it because I really wanted to try my hand at the Kwama cave pieces from OAAB, because those look really nice.
That's really good,
And I
because
figured-
you have 30 more to do, so you should get acquainted.
Yeah. True. Yeah, and so I figured, well, what mine to do, and I thought the Gnisis Egg Mine was a good place to start. In part also because I also want to redo the Dwemer ruin underneath it, because that ruin has always been a point of disappointment for me. That I've been always so excited to find the Dwemer ruin underneath there, but then that ruin is just one little tiny room, and that was always.
And I think
I
even
didn't like
worse,
that.
like you enter the cell and there's the table and there's the book you're supposed to find. Book or schematics, I forgot. I think it's the book. And it's like,
Yeah, it's a book.
Oh.
Yeah,
I completed the
that's
quest.
right. That's right. So I want to change that too. And so I figured maybe I'd just start with the Gnisis Egg Mine, and we'll see where things go from there. I'm not saying I will definitely do more egg mines. We'll see about that. For now, I'm just doing this one.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun working with it. Yeah, but so far I've really only been working on 2 cells, on the 2 very first cells. So basically the egg mine and the lower egg mine. both are a work in progress. Although the first cell is probably more or less complete. I might still change a few things, but more or less I'd say that one's ready to go.
It looks good. It looks good.
Yeah, the second cell, the lower egg mine, not so much. There's still a lot of stuff to do there.
I'm a little anxious walking close to the eggs because I know some of them can explode. Do you use those?
No, those are. I think those are only vanilla eggs.
I see. All right. So no exploding eggs, at least so far.
No, but that's actually a good idea. I should add some of those.
They're really fun because, well, normally you don't expect them.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah, I should probably add a few of those here and there.
you get a little surprise. It looks good, especially I'm still in the first cell, and the end of it with a large room with lots of kwama eggs and the bits hanging everywhere. It really looks like a place worth exploiting and making a business out of. It's really good. I'm gonna.
Yeah, true. I mean, why go into an egg mine when there's no eggs there, right? You need a few eggs for it to be a worthwhile endeavor.
I can't go to the next one
You can't go to the next one.
because the door is not connected yet. But I can maybe I can see or see.
Oh,
to
damn.
it. Well, no, that's
Yeah,
okay.
you
Like
should-
you send it to me. It's
Yeah.
it's a work in
didn't
progress,
check
so
that.
that's fine. That's not a bug. It's just a work in
Yeah.
progress.
I told you I hadn't tested it. So far, I've only been working in the construction set with it. Yeah. But you might be able to teleport there.
The second part, the lower level of the mine. What is it called?
It's just called lower egg mine. So Gnisis, lower egg mine.
Yeah. Going there. Went there. No, Kwamas, you're attacking me. There. I have pacified everything in there.
Okay. I'm not sure you're in the right place because I didn't place any enemies yet.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that looks like the vanilla one. Yeah, with the
Yeah,
artwork there.
that's still there.
And the queen
There's still
is
quite a bit
gone.
of junk floor.
Yeah,
What is gone?
the queen of where it would be, I think. If I remember the.
Yeah,
the
because
place.
I relocated.
Yeah.
Relocated the queen. If you fly around a bit, you should be able to find the stuff that I built.
Oh, I see. It's in the same. Oh, okay. Oh. I think you have the same habit as many modders. You place all the pieces that you might use somewhere in the cell, so you don't have to look for them in the construction
Correct.
set. Yeah, that is the best way to do things. So if you
Correct.
guys were curious to see what are the OAAB models that you can use for the egg mine, all those tunnels are lots of fun.
Yeah, those tunnels, they work nice.
Alright, and here is the place that you're building. I'm going back towards it. Oh, I see the disgusting greenish liquid that's floating. These are scripted to hurt. I remember when testing with Melchior, I did get hurt.
Okay.
I mean, maybe not the ones you have here, but Kwama acid, I'm fairly certain that if I step in the Kwama acid, that won't be too healthy.
Okay, good to know.
So
I wasn't aware of that.
we don't have.
I just thought it
we
looked
don't-
cool.
It definitely looks cool. It looks dangerous, and then when you get close to it, it is. I'm going to double check. Disable God mod. I might die. Quick save. No, not this one. Am I misremembering? I'm pretty sure there are elements of Quama acid that hurt you. And I see you put a tiny bit of a Dwemer architecture, which really makes sense. It's still mostly a cave, but
yeah, but those Dwemer pieces are only where you are right now, because that's the entrance to the ruin.
yeah,
If you
that
move
makes
away
sense.
from that, the Dwemer pieces will disappear.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Well, looking forward to seeing that. And here we have some scaffolding. Neat.
Yeah, but it'll take a while. I mean, I aim for release in May, sometime in May.
Or the 1st of June to get the achievement.
Or that, yes. Or that.
That's interesting because it gives us an idea of how you build a cell. Just first the skeleton and the big rooms and the path to go from one room to another. And then I assume once you've done that, I mean, you started detailing a little bit as well.
Yeah, it's a bit of this and that. I mean, I do largely first build the general surroundings and then detail it. But I might also detail a little here and there in between, and then keep building the larger layout of the dungeon.
Cool. Right. I'm gonna stop exploring because I know I'm the only one seeing things as we're talking, so that's no fun. At least to you.
Yeah.
Even though you know what I'm looking at, generally speaking.
Wait. You could at least go to the final chamber with the Quama Queen, because that one's pretty much complete and I think looks fairly decent.
In this cell?
In this cell. Shouldn't be too hard to find.
Found it. For me, it's a walk in the park. Yeah, that looks like the Queen's chambers. It's massive.
Yep.
Massive. And a little bit dripping. Lovely. Ah! I think you do have an exploding egg.
I do. Oh.
I mean, it
Okay.
looks like it. It could be because I have this disabled. Because I have collision. I'm pretty sure there's an egg that looks rotten. Blighted. I know it's a blighted Quama egg. Different.
Yeah, I
different
did add
egg.
a few of those, yes.
Different egg. Yeah, because she's supposed to be blighted. That's only the first one that I saw, but I was not really specifically looking for them.
Yeah, there were a few more
Couple.
scattered throughout, but they are easy to miss.
I thought I was gonna, get an egg to explode, but not this time.
No, unfortunately not.
Oh well. I can wait. I am not in such a rush to have a Quama egg explode in my face after all. Alright, I'm gonna stay there, right? I'm to each their own, but Quama egg explosion, no, not exactly my thing.
Yeah, I can sympathize with that.
All right. Well, thank you for guiding me through your mods. As I
Thanks for
desperately
the
look for
invitation.
things. My pleasure. We'll definitely have to do that again. I don't know, in May when you have your egg mine completed, and we can see the difference, the progress between the work in progress. That honestly, I mean, this room, the Quama Queen room, is fairly detailed. Like, it's really detailed. I'd be curious to see if the final version of it is even more detailed than that.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll find out.
We'll just
But
have to
I'll be happy
watch.
to return.
Ah, that's excellent news. Right, well, I'm gonna let you enjoy what's left of your Saturday. Today's Saturday.
Today's Saturday. Yes, right. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thanks for having me.
My pleasure.
And
Have a good time.
yeah, you too. Bye bye.
Talk to you soon. And chat, I know we do have a delay, but thank you for being there. I'm sorry that we couldn't talk so much because there was such a delay. Hopefully that won't be an issue tomorrow. Tomorrow we are back a bit later. Normally I stream at 6. I will be streaming at 8 because time zones, and Lucas, who went by Sigourn before, will be with me. We'll be talking about his mod guide, Morrowind Sharp. We'll be talking about the work, the continuation of BTB's mod, which is now BTBGI, if I'm not mistaken. We'll talk about the OAAB integration mod that he's worked on, and general rebalance of Morrowind, which is quite a big endeavor. Until then, well, there's only one day, so hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. And well, same thing. Enjoy what's left of your Saturday, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.